When a child is born, they can inherit any number of things from their mother: her smile, her eyes, her nose, but in many cases, her citizenship is not one of those things. That's because in 26 countries, women can't pass down their citizenship to their children.
Without citizenship certificate, you are as good as you're not a human being. Because for every step in our life, we need this citizenship certificate.
Several of these countries are crafting initiatives for women's empowerment and gender equality, except when it comes to allowing them to pass down their citizenship. Advocates pose the question, can you really have gender equality if women aren't allowed such a basic right?
In this interconnected world, we know that where there's growing inequality and tension in any country in the world, that's going to ultimately have ripple effects everywhere. And so ensuring equality under the law, particularly under something as fundamental as access to citizenship itself, is really critical to peaceful, stable societies.
Despite creating a new constitution in 2015, Nepal has been accused of gender discrimination when it comes to assigning citizenship. The child of a Nepalese woman married to a foreigner can only become a citizen through naturalization. If a Nepalese man marries a foreigner, any child he has gets citizenship automatically.
बच्चाहरूले पढ्न पायो मेरो भविष्य त बिग्रियो उनीहरुको भविष्य चाहिँ उज्जवल गराउन पाए हुन्थ्यो कि भन्ने चाहिँ आश गरेको छु.
No particular region is more likely to have these kind of laws. They're found everywhere, and everywhere they exist, those affected by them suffer the same consequences. Prior to its reform in 2010, the Kenyan constitution discriminated against women who had children abroad. This made obtaining education in Kenya difficult for those children.
When I went, they told me, "You're not even Kenyan, your dad is not Kenyan." At that time I was in college, I was supposed to sit for my exams, and you're not allowed to do the exam if you don't have the ID, because you're considered you're not Kenyan.
While Kenya has since reformed its laws, her experience before the change is similar to what others still face. According to the UN Refugee Agency, these kind of discriminatory nationality laws are often at the root of statelessness. And statelessness means no birth certificate, no passport, and no way to leave a country. So if conflict arises, stateless people are stuck.
As a Syrian woman, it's very difficult for me to give my nationality to my children. And that in and of itself is a problem. However, when you add a conflict situation to this issue, you can imagine the multitude of scenarios where a child cannot necessarily prove a legal link to the father.
Women affected by discriminatory nationality laws are often citizens themselves, but without being able to pass down their citizenship and property or provide for their families, they feel degraded.
So it really takes a significant toll on the emotional well-being of affected individuals.
While women are the main victims of these laws, some countries have loopholes that prevent single fathers from passing down citizenship. One of those countries, the US. A Supreme Court case is contesting that policy. That case references an act from 1952. It doesn't allow an unmarried father to pass down US citizenship to his child if the father didn't live in the US for at least 10 years before his child was born. We spoke with advocates who said there are benefits for countries to move to change their laws.
Instances where individuals might not be as convinced of the necessity to reform these laws based on the human rights violations that exist because of these laws and the impact, the severe impact that these laws have on affected families. We can talk about with governments the impact that it has on the country as a whole in terms of their sustainable economic development.
These laws may be inspired by past colonial rule, but as advocates look ahead, they're hopeful that nationality laws won't be a barrier to citizenship in the future.